An article by Katie Barnitz in the Albuquerque Journal says there's an ongoing tug of war in the 2nd Judicial District about how prosecutors charge citizens with felony crimes. The district court plans to reduce grand jury availability, saying preliminary hearings are more efficient and effective at figuring out if there's something to the felony accusations. Now, on the other hand, Albuquerque's Mayor Tim Keller and DA Raul Torres have joined together to try to get the district court to reverse that path, saying that preliminary hearings, which replace grand juries, are more time-consuming and resource-heavy. It's amazing. Here to offer thoughts and insight on this issue, we welcome Catherine McGill, founder and director of the New Mexico Black History Organizing Committee. Jeffrey Candelaria is here of Connection Now and a host on KKOB Radio, 770 AM. Executive Director of Progress Now New Mexico, Stephanie Maez, is with us. Also joining us is Merritt Allen. She's owner and executive director of Vox Optima LLC. Thank you all for being here. Merritt, the court, and that's judges, say that the district DA is focusing on getting cases into the system instead of getting them resolved. What's your initial take on this? Is the DA onto something here, or is he going against a tide here that he may have to think about a little bit?
Well, you know, in the American judicial system, prosecution is heavily favored. Rules of discovery, rules of evidence, everything favors the prosecution. So for a prosecutor's office to have such dismal statistics as described by the state district court in a letter to the Supreme Court, 2 out of 3 cases that go to jury in this judicial district are either acquittals or mistrials. That's an abysmal result unless you're a criminal.
Right. Exactly.
And then otherwise, suddenly Albuquerque is a great place to live. I think the mayor is making a mistake in aligning with.
Should he have stayed out of this?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Let me turn that to Jeffrey. Just to clear that up, what your thought on this? Was the mayor right to get involved in this? This is between the DA and.
You know, I can't speak for the mayor. I view this, it's a very complex issue because you've got an adversarial relationship with defendants and DA right off the bat. Then you have the rights of the accused. Then you have different methodologies that are part of what I call the application of justice. So this is all about procedure, efficiency, legal manipulation, process, efficiency, use of resources. Right. For example, if you ask a police officer, in fact, I spoke to a police officer yesterday in preparation for the show. I said, what is it like when you go to a preliminary hearing? He said, sometimes I'm there all day, sometimes 6 hours. And it's frustrating, he said, for me, whoever he is, because a lot of the times, if the witness doesn't show up or something goes wrong with all those moving parts in a preliminary hearing model, then the actual date of that hearing has to be rescheduled, dismissed, and then the plea bargain piece is all a part of that. Right. But I think in the final analysis, for the typical Albuquerque law-abiding citizen, they see this clumsy, bureaucratic, complex legal machine, and they say justice spits out various incarnations based on how you manipulate that machine. And all we want is, in my opinion, is because of so much crime, people that commit crime, to be accountable to that crime, commensurate to that crime.
Right.
And it just doesn't seem to be happening.
Interesting point there. You know, Stephanie, when you think about it, the DA is saying also the time involved, as Jeffrey was just mentioning, is problematic. He's concerned about officers having their time wasted. He's concerned about other resources that are limited being wasted here. Right. Is he just not doing the office's job at a certain level?
You said it.
I mean, this is what he's
but
supposed
I'm
to
going
do,
to agree with
right?
you. Absolutely. I mean, I think I know the DA, and I've worked with the DA in the past. We both worked for Richardson back in the day. I think that he is not ill-intentioned. I do recognize and appreciate the variables that have already been talked about. This is a question of procedure. This is one, you know, the grand jury process is one, as we know, of 2 to move forward with an indictment. But I do want to lift up the fact that while it is about public administration and it is about the procedures and it is about the officer's time and the impact of community policing and the resources available, one, the reduction in grand jury processes is in line with best practices around criminal justice. 2, as somebody that's lived through this process, I have to tell you that stats aside, the grand jury system is unfair. The lack of transparency, the ability for them to lock up my son for 10 months for a crime he did not commit. He's one of those statistics, one of those 65% cases. And so I can tell you that you know, just from a human standpoint that I applaud the courts and where they're going and really trying to lift up the preliminary hearing as the means for moving forward with indictment. It does allow an opportunity for the defendants to be there, for the defense attorney to be there, for witnesses to be cross-examined, for a more thorough review of the case to determine probable cause, and that's necessary, and that's justice.
Interesting, when you think about what Steph just described, Kathy, that flipping that around for a grand jury, and not to make you relive what you did with your son, but he would have had a chance to face the accuser, have an attorney, witnesses, and get a game plan together.
Right.
Grand jury on the other side is just a case manager saying, well, you know what? I think this should go this way. And next thing you know, you get all this time wasted where you could have come to a conclusion earlier. And this is why the trend to go towards preliminary hearings are happening across the country. So I ask again, is the DA off here? Is he just not getting it, so to speak? That this is what's going on. Because we have counties in New Mexico who have walked away from
13.
grand jury
Right.
system
13
too. That's right.
13
The 5th Judicial District doesn't use the grand jury process. They do preliminary hearings. They tried to go back to grand juries and found it not to be efficacious, and so they abandoned it.
Right.
And so what I would say to people is, the information is out there, and so we could sit around and chop up all the information, but the 2nd Judicial District on their website has their 20-page answer that I think lays out things very specifically. So I would say to people, go check it out, go read it for yourself. My opinion is that I read some of the op-eds, and a friend of mine, an attorney down south, Michael Stout, said, grand jury system leads to inequalities because it is about secrecy. It is putting someone in the system by indictment rather than by information, and I think just that difference right there is like, do you want to be put in by indictment as opposed to information? So if someone says, hey, Gene, I heard that you did this,
Right.
hearsay is allowed in grand jury, and you're not allowed to really advocate for yourself. There's no judge there. The DA just, it's sort of that ham, like you can indict a ham sandwich is
Yep,
what,
yep.
they talk about. So yeah, you can indict a ham sandwich. And what they talk about is front loading. I suggest to people, go read the information and you can educate yourself about what these real issues are. Whether or not the DA is unaware, he couldn't possibly be. And I would just say that in closing that, the National Center for State Courts has recommended the move to preliminary examinations in Bernalillo County multiple times. It's best practices. Let's do what's the best thing. And then just sort of to wrap it up, it's like when I look at, what's underneath the surface of this, it looks like we're putting a whole lot of people who look like me in jail and leaving them there for a long time and then wind up getting those cases kicked. As Merritt talked about, about 70% of them get kicked.
right.
And then we're sitting here as the public saying, hey, what happened?
That's right.
In the Victoria Martins case, it was on the front page of the paper forever. Why did this guy get kicked? It's like because they did not have the information up front. He was not guilty.
That's right. Interestingly, this process to go to this system, getting away from grand juries and go to preliminary hearings, this has been in process for a while, Merritt. And the DA sounds like this is something that's been sprung on him unfairly or something. And he's threatening now to take it to the Supremes, who in fact, a little while ago, they judged, no, this is the way we should go, as a matter of fact.
Well,
it's very interesting.
And when Torres was elected DA, I think a lot of people who followed the criminal justice system in Albuquerque breathed a sigh of relief.
Right.
And this moving away from the grand jury system is something he inherited, because let's remember how APD shootings were adjudicated previously under the previous DA, secret grand jury,
right.
who found unfailingly that every single shooting was always in the line of duty, and we don't know why. So there were some significant demands both from public and from Department of Justice that we improve our processes. And the case that everybody's using is the horrible shooting of UNM baseball player Jackson Weller.
Right. Has that colored this whole thing, do you think?
I think so.
Okay.
And I'm married to a criminal defense attorney, and so I hear about his day,
Sure.
and I hear a lot. So-and-so didn't show up, so-and-so didn't show up, so-and-so didn't show up. It's not witnesses, it's not defense, it's prosecution. And the suspect that's now in custody for the shooting I just mentioned could have been in jail already had the district attorney's office, had law enforcement collected video of the shooting that was on an existing camera, had
Right.
prosecution attended any hearings, made any deadlines, set up any witness interviews. They brought no witnesses, and it's an important thing also, just the last thing I want to point out is we get hard over on our judges, and we say we have activist judges who are letting criminals out on the streets.
Right.
Y'all, it's a big deal that you can't be held without evidence in this country, and we should kind of be, I don't know, focusing on preserving that. And I think this is a very important move in that regard.
Gonna hold you there, Steph. My
No.
fault. It's all the time we have on that issue. Sorry about that. Now, when the line comes back, we'll discuss a plea for the federal government to reimburse the state for providing aid to asylum-seeking migrants.